listening to Broken Line Podcast.
Wow.
I love Halloween. I'm too lazy to do costume.
Podcast number 12, Halloween edition.
We should have mapped this out better so
No.
it would have been on
So
13.
the good thing about podcast number 12
Yeah.
is we have nothing written whatsoever. So this is like probably going to be a short podcast. We don't know. And this is going to be a fire from the hit gratata type podcast. It is
Fire from my grandma's hip.
it is
It's
Halloween.
broken.
So Patrick dressed up as you can
Did
see.
best. I stole Aaron's tie.
So he took my tie and I clearly am too big for this outfit
Why is that?
because they're made like
Because you have almost illegal guns.
almost, but not quite.
Almost.
You know, it could be illegal at any point with the way the world is going. But I got pumpkin pants, which are pretty legit, actually.
Yeah, you got to keep those.
And then the top, which I will burn after Halloween.
Oh, you know what?
It doesn't
You should
shut.
give that to Steven.
But I do have my...
This is my human costume. I'm really a pickle.
Yeah,
That's
I have to wear this. And I'll probably wear it next podcast, too, because it's awesome with Matt. So,
Yeah.
Halloween edition. We have no idea what we're talking about. But I did text you some stuff, didn't I?
I
But
don't
none of
read
it
your
was
texts.
interesting.
Because lately it's sounds dandy. I don't know. Let me look.
I said Halloween, candy.
We're going to talk about candy.
What do you
What?
think about candy?
I like Reese's peanut butter cups, just like everybody else in America.
Yeah, what's
the
your-
rest
yeah.
of it?
What's your favorite candy?
All-time favorite?
All-time favorite candy. And then we'll do all-time Halloween candy.
All-time favorite candy is Reese's peanut butter cup.
So that's probably going to be your Halloween candy too.
Yeah, it's given out on the reg.
And you have my all-time Halloween. Okay, so first of all, let's go back to that. Did you ever see those pictures of I don't want to ruin it for you, but those Reese's peanut butter cups that had like bugs in them when people broke them open?
No, I didn't see those. And
Google them.
You know what else I saw just the other day? We're going to touch back here on the football and stuff. They didn't show any anthem or protesting or anything like that. Somebody had made a photo,
Of course.
and it's of a American flag burning on a stick in a player's hand.
Oh, I did see that one.
This is what the Seahawks are doing before the anthem. And people were like, "Oh my God, that's disgusting! Are you seriously think that was real?"
It's funny because how much content is provided through social media or online that is actually real nowadays.
Right.
I mean, yeah, the video of the Reese. It was a video of
Let's not
Reese's.
forget, people. There's children learning Photoshop and Illustrator and computer programs, not for like 2 weeks in their senior year of high school, like it was for me. They're
Yep,
starting this shit in like 3rd grade.
Yeah, I did 2 classes in high school, and I am so glad I did because I use it goes in
Right.
my degree of what
So
I
the,
do.
The skill level of Photoshop artistry is probably off the charts by now.
Yeah, they make it super easy for you to put or take anything out of a photo
people
very
just- yeah.
easily.
Right.
So let's put a burning flag in,
So
in a
back to the
Seahawks
Reese's
fan.
peanut butter cups. You know what? If I'm sure I've eaten bugs. They say like, on average, in your life you'll swallow 80 spiders while you're sleeping or something like that.
Yeah,
So I'm not worried about like
a couple crawlers sitting inside of.
a dead fly in my. I'm too large to care.
Plus,
if I
we-
do indulge in a peanut butter cup, I have a hard time getting through the wrapper. I get excited. I get jittery.
Plus, your expectations are lower. So if you open it up and there's like, there's a couple bugs, but I'm not going back to the store. I'm just gonna eat it.
That has nothing to do with expectations.
Yeah, it is because
I expect great things from Reese's peanut butter cups because I have never been let down.
yeah, this is true. I've never been let down either, and I agree. My top 5 Reese's Peanut Butter Cup would be top 3.
Now, if there was like Uncle Chet's Reese's Peanut Butter Rip-Off Custom Peanut Butter Cup shop, then the expectations get cranked
a
way
little bit
down. I'm
lower.
like, all right, Uncle Chet.
Has Reese's Peanut Butter Cups ever made a, like, how Oreo, we were just sitting down there for the football game a couple days
Every
ago,
week there's a new flavor.
and there's a new flavor. Yeah,
Yes.
has Reese's ever done that? I know that Reese's come out with like the M&Ms and all this other stuff, but like the
Yeah.
basic Reese's have ever.
Yeah, no, they've messed around with peanut butter cups, and it was a very trying moment of my life because I'm the type of person you just
Don't want to ruin it.
hey man, everybody's been loving this shit for a long time. Why you got to mess around with it? Because they came out with white chocolate, inside out ones. They even had a limited
The white
edition.
chocolate would not be my fave.
That you can still find them, and they had a limited edition Elvis Presley one that had banana in it.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, they've got crunchy ones. They got big cups with little Reese's Pieces in it.
It's that saying,
it's too much.
don't fix it if it's not broken.
Right, and I've said it to a lot of people. When it comes to candy, I don't buy it. I don't hardly eat it because it's annoying.
Yeah.
In my world, there would be a fruit-based hard candy and chocolate. I hate decisions. You walk into like, man, I want some candy. You end up spending 15 minutes staring at 900,000 different kinds of candy.
Yep.
And I just get to the point of like,
It went from a candy
I'll just-
section to a candy row to like, oh look, there's a whole nother row of candy, and it's
right.
like this chocolate, this mixed with this. Hey, this. And so you ever go to Walgreens and you walk down their candy aisle?
Oh yeah.
It's a little like overwhelming
Yeah, I just don't buy it.
because you go in there planning to get one thing, one item. I'm going in there for Reese's, and you walk out with like 4 bags of other
Right.
stuff.
Kind of like fishing tackle.
Kind of like
And
fishing
that,
tackle.
I'll be honest with you, that gets annoying too. I want a number 9 jointed chartreuse floating Rapala. I have to wade through piles and piles and piles of other stuff.
Just to get what you want.
Not saying that they should just make 2 Rapalas, but I don't.
Wouldn't
know
life
what
be
I'm saying.
easier if there was only 3 baits? 3 pieces of tackle. Like these are the 3.
Oh, fishing would be ridiculously hard though.
Yeah, that's true.
Eh,
Think of how it was back then when people were throwing random 3 or 4 different. Yeah, this is all we got.
the 5 of diamonds, the red eye wiggler, and the fuzzy grub.
That's it.
That's it.
Just play with that.
Yeah.
So, what for Halloween? What was one of the things you were dressed up as a kid? And don't tell me you didn't go trick or treating.
Oh, dude, I went trick or treating.
You got to fill up. And then after that, I have another question on a side thing off of that. But what was
Okay.
your number? Like I remember my 3 or 4 when I was a kid. I'm talking kid.
Yeah, even though I'm an ancient 44, I can remember back my first Halloween costume that I can remember. Grape Ape.
What?
Grape Ape was a cartoon. He was kind of a purplish
Grape?
King Kong
Ape?
looking dude. YouTube it. You can find it. It's an old cartoon.
Grape
It's
Ape.
from the 70s. 70s, early 80s.
I wish I had photos of this of you.
Yeah, I don't. My mom probably does. We'll have to. When next, when I get you over to Side Lake, I'll have her dig some stuff
Pull
out.
some of that stuff out.
And I quickly went from Grape Ape. I rocked him for several years in a row. Now this was back. You had the vacuum formed plastic mask with a little rubber band, and then the suit was like a little bit more heavy duty garbage bag vinyl.
Yeah.
But I actually loved Grape Ape so much that I did not destroy that costume. And I rocked him for several years in a row. But I never made a smooth transition from a beloved cartoon character, just kind of slowly progressing towards more hardcore Halloween stuff. I went from Grape Ape, Wolfman.
Just
Like in a few years. There's no gradual step up.
there was no
Bloody Wolfman looking, yeah.
real blood, or
No, not real blood.
one of those ones where it was fake blood, or one of those ones like
It's
where you
just a rubber
squeeze.
mask.
Oh, rubber mask. Okay.
Yeah, I took one of my dad's flannels and
Oh, that.
growled at people, and
Yeah.
that was a weird
Did you
kid.
ever? Okay, that's another side question, but like for me, I remember I was an M&M.
What? Which one? What color?
I think it was red. Red M&M.
I could see you being that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A red M&M. I was a Pikachu. And then I think I made that transition right to like Dracula. So almost like you, but
Hold on.
could you imagine me as a Pikachu?
Time out. Hit pause. Let me get past the Pokemon thing because I just had a video whip through my head. Did you see that one where like the Pokemon Go came out?
Yeah.
And that one guy he couldn't name off all the critters, but he given them these like nicknames.
Okay. No, I haven't seen it.
Like
I'll have to look it up.
Big Dick B.
Big Dick P.
This one, lady.
I know exactly the Pokemon you're talking about.
You gotta see it. Okay.
What was Pikachu's?
Well, and they're flashing through it. He's like, "Oh, that's Big Dick B, and this is so and so." Oh, that's Pikachu. Everybody knows who Pikachu is. And then like this other lady, they interview this other lady, and she's just, I think it's a comedy spoof, but she is just bent, just completely bent.
Just pissed off about it.
Yeah. We'll find it after this.
Do you were you a pillowcase kind of guy, or were you just a bag for collecting candy?
Plastic pumpkin.
Plastic. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
The pumpkins. But you can't fill that up as much as you can.
And thank God.
That's true. And thank God we didn't get more than that.
I'm whittling way from 3 stones. So. But yeah, the small plastic pumpkin.
The small plastic pumpkin.
Halloween, when I was a kid, though, we designed a lot of our costumes around at least a foot of snow by then.
Yeah.
That was
back in the day. There was a lot of snowstorms on Halloween.
Absolutely.
Actually, that one big, huge storm was on Halloween probably in your time.
Yep. I think it was the winter of 96. I believe.
I'm going to go with, it was 90-something.
Yeah. And also, it wasn't uncommon for my dad and I to sit in the dark house spearing northern pike on Thanksgiving. Back in the day when I was a kid.
We should grab the GoPro and go trick-or-treating as fishermen and add it in. I think that'd be funny. 2 grown men walking up as fishermen with a bag. Fill me up. I just saw a video
with jigs.
Did you?
You got any tackle?
Did you? There's a video that just posted. Actually, I think it's from like last year, but it's coming up again now, of a guy that dresses up a styrofoam mannequin kid.
A little Spider-Man.
Yeah, and sets it at the doorstep.
Classic.
Rings the doorbell. Oh, what are you?
He says some awful stuff like, "Oh, he's deaf. Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay."
It doesn't. Oh, everyone needs to see that video if you haven't seen it.
I just saw that last night. I think it was.
That's
Speaking
absolutely
of last night. I'd like to say thanks to everybody who.
1,000.
Yeah, we broke 1,000 on Facebook.
This is true.
And I want to thank everybody who has liked our page and viewed our stuff. And
yeah, I was laying in bed and all of a sudden I'm like, 1,000. I quickly text you. Haley's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Texting Patrick 1,000."
Yeah, and then I didn't go to sleep till almost midnight because I was all excited about it.
And it was a decent jump too. Like it's like 1,040 or whatever.
Yeah, and
from
900
something.
You had just dropped 10, or did that drop this morning?
No,
you dropped it yesterday.
Yeah. Yep, it was after 10 dropped.
Yeah, so 10 episodes we had. Well, when you said we had 1,000, I looked and it was 1,026.
It was 1,040 something last night when I went to bed.
Wow.
And I don't know what it is now, but.
So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, that's a big shout out to everyone out there. That 1,000, what the heck, moving up, Yeah. What do you? Okay. Fishing. We're going to Eskimo Pro Day, and we're gonna do. You have not stopped talking about it. So for everyone out there, when you're part of pro staff or promotional staff, you a lot of those companies have pro days. That's where you get together, see new gear, talk about game plans, this and this and this, have dinners, all that good stuff. You get to meet other staff. So Eskimo this year, it's coming up like soon, and we are going to podcast on the way down, and we're going to try and do some podcasts there with Eskimo people, and you have not stopped talking about how excited you are.
Dude, I'm excited for the whole thing. I'm excited for the road trip because cruising with you is always fun.
Yeah. And
There's
you're going
sweet
you're getting
fat tunes, lots of road snacks.
I was going to say road snacks.
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure. And then I'm excited for a mobile from the truck podcasting.
Yeah, it's going to be different. So we're taking all of this,
All of this.
and
Except
we're
the table.
except for the table in the background and this awesome jacket, and we are doing a mobile. We're going to try to do a mobile podcast while driving. We have a 4.5 hour drive. We're going to take it nice and slow, and we're going to head down to Eskimo Pro Day.
It sounds like we're going to go on a date, but we're not. We're going to Pro Day.
Yeah. So we're just going to kind of video blog our trip as well, and we'll have a video blog for the Fish Addictions as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just going to kind of video blog it all as we kind of go down, plus a podcast. We're going to show us going. We got to go to a cheese store because it is in Wisconsin. We're just going to hit some fun stuff along the way, have fun. We're going to have probably a separate YouTube video of our adventure to Eskimo Pro Day.
Oh, absolutely.
And
to finally get down there and meet the guys that I've been emailing with, I hope I don't overdo it, but I'm kind of like the whole prototype engineering that's in me and stuff. I can't wait to meet the engineers, and like I might even be like, hey, I got some ideas. Let's just slide over to the computer here, and you guys just stand there and you let me do my thing. But I doubt that'll happen. But I'm definitely excited to talk to those guys because I always got things going on upstairs. You know?
Yeah, and this will be the first time you're meeting a lot of the Eskimo guys and a lot of the staff.
Well, some of the staff I've met over the years at shows, like the St. Paul Ice Show.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was always one of those guys, even though back in the day I was with Freybill and stuff or Tuned Up. I always stopped and talked at every booth, or they would recognize me or I'd recognize them. I'd introduce myself and we'd chit chat. So I believe I've met Troy Peterson. I'm sure he'll be there.
Yep, he should be there.
Scott and Kyle.
Scotty and Kyle, yep.
I've met those guys. Tony's not
with him, but he'll be there.
But I believe I met him at St. Paul. I'm not sure. The whole St. Paul thing, you meet hundreds and hundreds of people.
It just matches together.
It all blends together, and then when you see him again, it'll click. So I may have met Ryan at one point.
I don't know. Ryan's might be.
He's an engineer, dude.
Within the last couple of years. I know, but it's cool because this is your first time on their staff.
Yes.
So we're gonna really just get the whole experience of kind of Pro Day for Eskimo without giving away a few things that we can't release to general public. But I mean, we're gonna road trip. We're gonna film. We're gonna do podcast. Yeah. We're gonna get down there, and I'm hoping that we can grab a few. We're gonna bring all this gear with. We're gonna hopefully grab one or two people for a podcast, whether that's in an office, or in the warehouse, in the hotel, wherever, the ditch, the side of the road, wherever we can get electricity.
Oh, if we could pull it off in a cheese shop, that'd be bomb.
While we're eating cheese.
There's going to be some Fish Addictions cats there
that
I haven't seen in a while, and I'm excited to, chat with those guys on Facebook. It's never the same, though.
Yeah, we have like 4 or 5, maybe actually more than that, 8 staff, 6 staff, from national pro staff level to regular staff.
Yep.
And it's going to be fun. The last time I went to Cumberland, Wisconsin, I put back a couple, and you know what I'm saying? And it was fun. Everyone in Wisconsin / everyone part of a company like this are good people. Especially in the fishing industry. You don't run into many people in the fishing industry where it's just like, dude, those people are terrible. And if they're terrible, usually they're not part of a team anymore.
Right.
And
And
just
my
to get around
interactions,
these.
just my interactions with Big Trev and Ryan alone through email, and then Ryan called me yesterday at work. He's like, I just thought I'd give you a call instead of emailing you. I just wanted to verify your shipping address, and we chit-chatted a little bit, and everybody just seems really cool, man. Just,
Everyone's laid back, and it's going to be fun to go down there. So if anyone has never been a part of a promotional staff, or if you have but haven't had the chance to ever go to like a pro day, we're going to try and give the inside scoop because we're going to have a blast, we're going to have fun, and we're going to try to bring the experience to the people, not only in the Fish Addictions video blog. We'll do a little mini series here on our own channel. We'll try to do some podcasts separately and with other people, and it's going to be a blast, and it's 2 days long, plus 2 road trips there and road trip back. And it's going to be awesome. And I wanted to bring it up in this Halloween episode because it's coming quick. And
dude, since I love Halloween so much, let's give out some treats.
Some Ice Strawn.
Yeah.
We could chat about Ice Strawn too.
I love them.
The Strawn family.
We should get into this a little bit. But we should give some of these away too. We should do something between now and the end of this podcast. I'll think of something creative.
Okay. And let's give away 4 of those plus a little fun Broken Line sticker.
I have a Halloween joke for you.
And message us on Facebook. The code is going to it's like sticky. Message us on Facebook. Halloween 2017, and you'll get in a drawing for the Ice Strawn titanium Spring Babas, and get a Fish Addiction sticker, and
you'll get 3.
That's what you get.
Color.
Oh, you'll get an Ice Strawn sticker too.
Yeah,
what the heck?
Sticker.
Throw that in there. Ice Strawn sticker. Ice Strawn.
I'm all messed up. I have a Halloween joke for you.
Let's bring it.
Are you ready for this? Why can't witches have babies?
I don't know.
Because their husbands have Halloweenies.
Halloweeny.
Boom, that just dropped. There you go. Halloween joke for y'all.
Halloween joke. And it was a dirty Halloween joke too. The heck?
There is a different version of that. Same lead into the joke, but the punchline is because their husbands have crystal balls. Either
crystal
one works.
Balls. Yeah, that's true.
Either
I like the
works.
Halloweenies.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about
yeah,
spring
let's
bobbers?
get into you know more about spring bobbers than I do. I've been with like 13 and other products where they have them kind of built in.
Right.
But you have not only been on their staff, but you have also used them, obviously.
I use them religiously.
So, first of all, tell everyone what a spring bobber is so they know what the heck that is.
Spring bobber is kind of an old term. There's a new term now, is strike indicator. I prefer spring bobber. And basically, it originated, a lot of original spring bobbers were flat spring steel.
Okay.
Just thin spring steel. But they would kink. And stuff
so
like
this goes on the very end of your fishing rod.
This goes on top of the blank. So, most of your ice rods are miniature spinning rods. So all the guides are on the bottom side of the blank.
Yep.
This goes over top, right at the very end, right past the end of the rod. I should have brought.
How far out does it go?
Well, that's something I'm working on with Matt from Ice Strong right now. When you can wrap this in, you can glue it on and heat shrink tube it.
Because I was gonna say, do you tie it on? But I see in the package it comes with heat shrink.
Yep, I'm trying to help develop a holder so that you do have some adjustment. There are aftermarket spring bobbers such as Matt's, but Matt does not have the holder right now. There are other companies that have a holder that clips onto the rod blank, and then you can slide the wire in and out. And by sliding the wire in and out, when you have it out,
the sensibility changes?
Yes.
Sensitivity, I mean.
The sensitivity changes. If you choke up on it, it doesn't.
I can see why that would be important.
Yes, and you do that for a couple different reasons. If you're using, say, you got it out here at the end, and you're running like a 3 millimeter tungsten, which is a small tungsten, and I think they even go down to like 1.5, something really super tiny. You want a spring bobber to load, so you don't want it to sit straight out. You want it to slightly bend down. Okay, and what this does is a lot of times bluegills and crappies, they feed upward. So if this is loaded like so, and it's slightly bent down, and a fish comes up on the up bite, it's going to straighten out because that fish will create slack in your line.
So is there weight that goes on the end to make it bend?
It's the jig.
Oh, okay. The weight of
because your line runs through the hoop.
Yep.
On the end, or the eye on the end. So you want it to load. Okay. And you want it to load nicely. Also, for a spring bobber, for me, it also translates to me what my lure is doing down there when it's loaded, and and the fish are in a really negative mood. This is when spring bobbers really shine. They're not super aggressive, and they're just barely taking the bait. You'll see that with this because this is 0.016, I believe. 0.016 diameter titanium wire. There's not.
Can I see one of them?
Yeah. The technology in fiberglass isn't there to get it that small and durable. And but what it does is it translates what my jig is doing. If I'm jigging right, I'm not moving my wrist up and down to jig.
So the benefit of having this is
you can see your jig
for
cadence,
figgity fish,
and you can really detect just the absolute slightest bite from a really negative fish.
So if you have an ice fishing rod that doesn't have anything like that built into it, you should look at getting something like this. Now, does he have different ones? I see different colors, but
right here,
or is it just for fun? Different colors for fun.
Well, you can do different colors for various reasons. If you have a lot of spring bobber rods, you might have different pound tests. So you'd be like, oh, I'm running 2 pound on green, I'm running 3 pound on pink, and I'm running 4 pound on orange. Some people, like myself, I have a hard time seeing orange against a white background. For some reason, I have a hard time picking it up. So I usually run like the hot pink color. This one.
Okay, so I can see what the colors are.
Or you can color coordinate it for pound test you're using or size of jig that you're using.
I see it's non-freezing titanium, no kinking.
Yep. And these are rated for 25 below, I believe.
So we actually just shared a picture of them made in Michigan.
Yep.
It's crazy because a lot of ice fishing / fishing companies are outsourcing out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of them mom and pop. I'm not going to say out of their garage because I'm not 100%, but that's the style. And they're making it right in Michigan, right out of their own house. Mm-hmm. And they're, I have met them twice, and they're good people. Very good people.
I've met them in excuse me. I met them in person once. They were rolling through town, and Matt called me up.
Wasn't that just this past year?
Yeah, and we went.
And he didn't call me up? You went to 209?
Yeah, we went to 209 and introduced
I texted him. I said, where the hell was the text? And he's like, oh, he wasn't even thinking. Yeah, okay.
Right. But Matt and
so
Laura
now
are wonderful people. She's actually trying to help me with my freezing hands issue.
Yeah, you and your...
She's a guru. Yeah. But...
So there also isn't a whole lot of a description for it. In a sense, you kind of get the idea, right? It sits on the end of your line to help for them fidgety type bites. And
myself and fellow pro staffer, I believe his name is Joe DeVera, or there might be all three of us that I know of. If you go to the Ice Strong Titanium website, you will see videos of us on how to mount them on the rods and how to fish them.
Perfect. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
give them an updated video this winter.
Yeah,
I think it'd be
let's do
fun
that.
at some point in this podcast to go out in the field and hook up mics to us, set the cameras up, and show them, the
Yeah.
viewers, how to install it, what it's used for, and catch some fish with
I
it.
would love that because I just did it from my phone. I did a pretty good job. I did it outside because the lighting was good, but with your professional capabilities, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, we can help them out.
To definitely fish them because, like I was saying earlier, when I always have a spring bobber rod or two they're permanently on there for that finicky bite. I even have a spring on a noodle rod. It's kind of a slightly modified noodle rod. But the way I jig a spring rod is completely different than the way I jig a normal rod without a spring on it. I don't use my wrist. I use my whole arm. I don't move the rod blank but up and down because I want to transfer all that action to the spring so I can see the cadence of that jig. So
Okay.
I just want the spring moving. It's kind of once you get the hang of it, it works out pretty good. I taught a couple guys out at the St. Paul Ice Show how to do that, some tournament guys.
And we, for us, Fish Addictions, season 2 of last year, we went to the UP.
Yep.
And we actually fished with Mr. Strawn himself. And we used these because we were using their techniques to catch the fish in their habitat.
Yep.
And it just so happened we couldn't use our stuff, so we used their stuff. And so if you want to look up that episode, that was the UP episode. I believe it was like episode 5 or something. Season 2 of Fish Addictions TV. We use it. We put it to the test, and I see some clips of it kind of bouncing. We fish with Matt, and
Yep.
it's awesome.
And that's a dead stick technique.
Yep.
Which also is, Matt also makes different size wire is going to give you different results. So he has like an XL, which is a heavier wire for bigger baits, or a great dead stick for crappies. So we can later this winter we can definitely get into the super specifics of it.
Yeah, we'll come back to the whole titanium spring bobber in the field, and we'll put it to the test. We'll do like a podcast from the ice type situation, and we'll show you can show them how to put it on, and we'll go fishing and catch some fish and show some techniques and mess around with it. But we will give away 3 of them to someone who messages us on Facebook. What was I going to do? Oh, Halloween 2017. You message that, you get it in the drawing for that. Ice Strawn, 3 of them, plus you get a sticker, plus you get a Broken Line sticker.
Yep.
And we will send that out to you. But definitely, visit them online.
They have a new website coming. I don't know if it's up yet, but it's going to be Ice Strong Outdoors.
Ice Strawn. Okay, so
look them up on Facebook.
Look them up on Facebook because they're transitioning to a new website. And don't be afraid to message them. They're a mom and pop resort, and they're great people. If you have questions on the product, or if you want to know more about it, or if you even have ideas to help them, hit them up.
Yeah.
And if you have any ideas or questions for us on it, hit us up. And
Sure.
we'd love to talk more. And
talking fishing.
yeah, we love talking. So a little Ice Strong.
You'll unfriend me after we're done, probably, because I'll just keep bugging you.
Okay, I have a funny one.
Is it a joke?
Nope.
Damn.
If fish could have think like us, what would be the top 3 things that they would say or think about throughout their day down there?
Oh, I know that I would find myself in a live well situation if I came across a wacky rigged peanut butter cup. I'd be done. I'd be looking at the white box.
Then you'd be into it. So that's what they fish you with, is a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yeah, just like a big fat bullhead. Not wacky rig, yeah. Rig it like you would a bullhead.
If fish could talk, what would they say?
I think they would say, "Oh wow, that
Oh
was
shit!
good.
There goes Larry."
Damn it! This hurts. This hurts. Don't stick your fingers in my lungs. Oh god. okay, grab me by the mouth. That's fine.
You were just bringing up a conversation the other day about someone with a northern
Yeah, I
in their
saw
eyes.
that. I didn't comment because I just didn't want.
So
the
what was it
notifications.
posted on?
It was on Facebook.
Facebook. Someone was holding up a northern with
By
their
its eyes?
by their eyes,
Had one hand on the tail and then clamped in the eye sockets.
and they didn't keep the fish.
And yeah, they didn't keep the fish. And
Slightly disrespectful in various ways, for sure.
I don't know anything about the angler. I mean, it could have been their first time fishing or
And
anything
it was
like
an
that.
accident or something.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's why I don't jump on that right away and just be like,
Freak out.
whoa, dude, you're doing this all right. You know, like, then if it's that person's first time fishing, they'd be like, well, if I can't do it right, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, that always, when sturgeon fishing became real popular, you know, even more so in the last few years, you know, you saw a lot of people with the gill plate hold, you know, they're
Oh yeah.
up it, and
Yeah, like with sturgeon too. The people do that, and it's just like, don't
well,
do
yeah,
that.
I seen it that photo drastically, or that style of hold drastically fall off
People have learned.
over like 2 spring sturgeon seasons. People are just like, yeah, that's probably not a good idea to hold a, you know, almost 100-pound fish by its, you know, gill plates.
Yeah.
It's never
I've always seen it worse with sturgeons out of everything.
right.
That's
Because they're so big and they're cumbersome. They're hard to hold on to, and they
Yeah.
are slippery. And I could see where you naturally want to do that, but it took a few people, and I myself was like, hey man, it's a great fish, but don't hold them like that. You're gonna rip their gill plates, or you're gonna damage their gills, and that's just not a good thing. And people have been really receptive to it, and it's declined a lot, which I'm pretty excited to see.
I mean, we've talked about in the podcast before proper management of treating fish. I mean, and we've also been trying to do it in the fish addiction show too. This year we've filmed some big northerns already, and we've talked about up in Manitoba, you know, Travel Manitoba, they want to really get the message out that the fish should be out of the water for only a certain period of time.
Mm-hmm.
It should be held properly, quick picture,
Yes.
and release. And of course, Travel, you know, in Manitoba, barbless hooks also help the situation
Barbless.
on not having them hurting the fish. But I mean, things like that is what keeps our fisheries in a better condition. When you take the extra step to leave the fish out not very long, take your quick photo, and if you are going to unhook it and get it up, put it right back in the net in the water. Let it be in the water while you get your camera ready or
while
whatever.
you get things situated. And you know, that's how these muskie guys are.
Yeah.
They're already set up in the boat for when that big, you know, 50-inch plus fish hits. They've got everything.
Especially the bigger and older the fish, the harder
Right.
it takes to get going and get back into the water.
You know how we said we've always, you know, as fishermen, we constantly learn? Well, I learned something this summer. I wasn't out fishing with a muskie guy, but we were just talking fishing or whatever. My buddy Spencer at work, big muskie fisherman, was watching a muskie fishing show. I can't remember which one it was. And they were moving the fish back and forth. And I was like, yeah, I've done that with bass and stuff like this. No, man, you can suffocate them. I did not know that. So, and now I've been paying attention to that. It makes sense because a fish swims forward, water flows in its mouth and through its gills, right? But if you go backwards,
Yeah, they don't swim backwards.
they don't swim backwards. That water goes the other way, and you can drown them, suffocate them that way. So now it's just a hold.
A hold and maybe a little tail whip to try to help it.
Yep,
Get it.
and just keeping it upright, and that's it. And she's good
So
to
if
go.
anyone didn't know that, because I
didn't
know that, and I know I've seen it done that way, but then again, we were just out northern fishing, and we were doing the same thing. We were just put it in the water and just let it acclimate itself back into the net. Don't
Right.
be forward, backward. I never thought about that.
Yeah,
so
and
you
I-
could
I-
actually injure a fish by
Releasing
pulling it back and then
Absolutely.
having the water.
I like I said, I did not know that, and I'm not embarrassed to say that I didn't know that. I was like, I've done
Always
that
learning.
before with like largemouth and whatnot, but now I know. And as a kid growing up, like largemouth fishing, I always grabbed them by the mouth, but over the last few years that I've been bass fishing, my favorite hold now is just at the belly. I've never had one flop out of control. Just scoop them up by the belly.
Well, I've seen you lip a walleye before. Well, I mean,
Well,
you
yeah.
properly held it up, but who sticks their finger in a walleye's mouth? Yeah, Patrick does.
Their teeth aren't that sharp.
Nah, there's...
It deserved it.
How would you feel of a quick talk on taxidermy stuff?
Yeah.
Is there someone in the local Bemidji area or someone in? You said you were sending a fish down to the cities or something.
Iowa.
Iowa. So why are you picking to go all the way down there? What do you look for when you're? Let's pick fish. We're not even gonna go deer hunting or anything like that. If you have a fish mount, let's say you're out fishing and you catch a fish and you're like, this one is going. This is the one. I'm doing it. Tell me the step process of what you do to properly take care of that fish, to get it safely home, safely not injured, and then what you look for in a taxidermist before sending it out to a specific. And then this is like, oh, I've never used a taxidermy before type of situation.
Okay. Okay, so we'll start with the catching of the fish. You catch this fish and you want to get it mounted. If you're in a boat with a live well, just put it in the live well. There's some decisions that need to be made now. You can go with a traditional skin mount, as they call it, where their bodies are carved and the skin is put on, or they're freeze-dried and painted. Or you can do replicas. And that's what I'm doing with my fish. That's why I'm sending it down to Iowa. His name is Jimmy Lawrence.
So you're sending the physical fish, or are you just sending weight, measurements, and pictures?
I'm actually sending the physical fish because the biggest rock bass that he has is only like 10.5 inches. Well, I have 11 3/4. That's that.
So how is that considered a replica?
Well, it will be a replica because what he's going to do is he'll make a mold of my fish, and then he'll discard the fish, and then he'll make a fiberglass one, and then he hand paints them, and it's his work is I have no words for it.
And who is this?
His name is Jimmy Lawrence.
I mean, does he have a company or is it just a guy?
Lawrence Taxidermy. He does replica fish. He also does big game too. Bear, deer. Maybe not bear, but I know deer for sure. But his specialty is fish.
Okay, so fish is in the live well.
Fish is in the live well. Okay, if you've decided to have a replica, you should do a little research first. This is kind of a weird way to approach it, but because of the replica thing, it's becoming more popular, and there's several reasons why. It's not always cheaper, but the mounts last longer. It won't decay over time. Okay. Mites won't get at it, and moths and stuff like that. It won't chew it apart. A lot of these reproduction artists have several molds, or they can get blanks. I know Jimmy quoted me a price on my she was my fiance at the time, her personal best largemouth, which was almost 24 inches, which was caught around here. And he's like, yeah, I got a 24 but not a 20. I got a 23.5 but not a 23 3/4 like yours. I said, well, we can just do 23.5. That's fine. It's still a giant largemouth. Mm-hmm. So you got that. So we released that fish. So if you're thinking of reproduction, like if you're thinking like, someday I want to get a fish mounted, but maybe I want to do a reproduction, I want to let the fish go, you're going to want to ask other anglers or just do a web search, do a Google search.
So you take photos of the fish and then measurements?
Yes, especially if the fish has unusual markings. They want nice, large megapixel photos. Okay, so set your camera. Most cameras have multiple megapixel settings, so you want to put it on the highest setting so you get the highest quality photo, because they'll blow them up to get that detail. You want a side shot, like a face-on front shot, another shot of the other side, and one of the most important ones is a nice macro detail shot of the eye, because they have to hand paint those eyes.
I didn't think of
and
the
then
eye.
If the fish has any unusual markings, definitely capture that in the photo, because not all fish are painted by nature the same.
Mm-hmm. Then you get the length,
You
the
get
width, the girth.
length, width, and girth, and then you can release the fish.
Let's say you're keeping the fish to bring it down. How do you safely bring it from the boat to the taxidermy?
It's going to be the same process that my rock bass went through for shipping to Iowa, but you'll want to you'll want to ask around to other anglers who've had fish mounted where they got theirs done. Here in Bemidji, Nature's Edge taxidermy.
Nature's Image?
Or Nature's Image, yes, over by the airport. Does wonderful work. You can start by contacting them, and they'll tell you how they want it prepped. I will take and make sure the fish is wet, and I wrap it in a wet towel and put it in the freezer. And then after it's good and frozen, I'll take another wet towel and wrap it again. And you want to make sure the fins are flat and all laid down. Okay, you don't want one like a pectoral fin
frozen up or something,
bending the wrong way. It could snap off. I'm not a taxidermist, but I know you can order fin sets and little parts and stuff to add and whatnot. But again, it's kind of as technology gets better with like 3D printing and mold making and that kind of stuff,
just 3D print that mount.
Well, I was actually working with a guy, reproduction artist. I don't know whatever happened to him out of Fridley, Minnesota. He did my 10.5-inch pumpkin seed. And he knew that I worked in the 3D printing at the time. And he wanted to look at getting, a 3D printer so he could 3D print out fish and then make molds of those. But the detail for 3D printing is just not there.
So if you want to keep your fish to get it mounted, regardless of what depending on what taxidermy you pick, you should always call them just to see exactly how they would prefer it.
Yep.
And what do you look for when you're looking for a taxidermist? I mean, you clearly picked someone in a whole other state.
Yep.
What were you looking for?
As an angler, picking a taxidermist is a lot like picking a family doctor. You just
it's one of those arguments.
Reputation. And you bring your fish mount in on September 1st. Don't call them 2 weeks later, because it's not like that. A lot of really good taxidermists have up to a year plus wait. I know when I send my rock bass down, which I've been wanting to for a while, I either forget about it or I can't do it at the time. I think Jimmy is he's catching up. I think he's about a year out. But
I think most
with a year waiting list, that tells you something.
I think most, or at least the ones I've dealt with, have been definitely like around a year wait time.
Yeah. So don't expect a quick turnaround. And again, it just
unless
goes
you're
into
paying the big bucks.
Well, even with
Slip
big
on
bucks,
a couple suitcases
most
of money.
Most of those taxidermist guys are, hey man, this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy they're ahead of you.
Yep.
I'm sorry. But there are guys that specialize in ducks, deer, bear, fish.
So sometimes you have to switch taxidermies depending on what you...
Exactly. Man, we should have talked about this when Matt was here. Matt's got a lot of fish mounts and a lot of game mounts, he uses, don't quote me on this, but there's a taxidermist place between his house and Rylander's. Wilderness.
Oh, yep. I know what you're talking about.
Wilderness taxidermy, I think.
Something like
that. But he's
yeah.
really good with ducks, I guess. So, he might be able to do fish, but, it's just like any artist. They might be able to do something, but they really specialize in one thing. And so just doing some research and calling around, especially if you got that fish in the freezer, and it's all taken care of and you're comfortable with that, and then call around.
Yeah.
Talk to your buddies. If you're in a bait shop and you see a mount, hey man, where was that fish mounted? It looks really nice. A lot of times the bait shop owners will tell you, oh, it was so-and-so, because they a lot of taxidermists used to donate mounts to bait shops as kind of a business card.
Mm-hmm.
You know, works for the bait shop because they got all these nice fish hanging up in there. And then, oh yeah, that's so and so's mount. Here's his card. You know,
Yeah.
that's how it used to work. And
How long can you keep a fish frozen before sending it in?
well, my situation's a little different because Jimmy's just going to make a mold off of it. So, you know, he's going to end up painting it from the pictures.
So it's
that I
okay if
provide.
it's a year
Right.
in your freezer or something?
You'll want to get it to them pretty quick. Now he's going to keep it for a while though. So I mean, the longer the fish is frozen, it's not always the best. But it's, you know, and that's where it's really important to get those good photographs,
Mm-hmm.
those detailed photographs, and you know, have all your ducks in a row with that. And then as far as price goes,
What's an average per inch?
well, in the mounts that I have, I used to use a taxidermist over by Duluth, but he's retired now. He doesn't do it anymore. He said he'd still do an eel pout for me if I ever wanted to. Like, he didn't sell all of his stuff, but he's like, Pat, if you ever get one of them eel pout, you really want it mounted, I'll do it for you. I said, that'd be great. If it turns out awesome. If not a big deal. But it used to be panfish were like a set amount. That'd be your bluegills and crappies.
Mm-hmm.
Was usually around 90 to 110. Okay. And then at like your walleye, bass, pike, trout would vary. I mean, I think now the going rate is around, I'm going to say 17 to 20 bucks an inch.
I think that's about right from what I've...
Yeah, I can remember when I had my largemouth bass mounted. I think it's 21 and a half inches. I think John charged me 12 bucks an inch at the time. Something like that. So it can get expensive.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a fish of a lifetime or a trophy fish in your mind, and you know, you're working with an artist.
Yep.
You know, so, and price, it's kind of like tattoos. You know,
You want to pay for the
if you're getting a tattoo, the last thing on your mind should be price.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously, you don't want a good quality work if you're worried about price.
I want as cheap as I can get. It looks like
Now,
crap.
You know, I would question if the guy was like, well, you know, this crappie is going to be $2,000. I'd be like, well, you know, okay, wait a second now. And that's another
Back it
reason
up,
why
Terry.
you don't see a whole lot of muskie mounts or replicas.
Because it's
you
just
know,
expensive.
Well,
Because they're huge fish.
Yeah, that Frank Schneider. I guess if you win that, you get a replica of the length of your fish. You know, you get a
That's
replica
crazy.
mount that you've released. And there, you know, if you're talking say a 55-inch muskie at 20 bucks an inch, that's over $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah. So to kind of bring it all together. Get that fish frozen, wrapped up and protected. Make sure the fins are flat if you're going to do a skin mount, or even if you're going to send it off for a mold for reproduction. If you're thinking already, like I am a catch and release angler and I do want to get a replica done, take your good photographs, release that fish, you know, or do research on an artist that you found. Like I said, you can message Jimmy Lawrence on Facebook or give him a call, and he'll let you know if he has that mold or if he can get that blank. Sometimes, with my rock bass, I'm gonna get kind of a little bit of a break on price because he doesn't have that.
So he's getting
Nobody
the mold
makes a
out
rock
of it.
bass plug. You know,
Yeah.
there's this, but it's also a world ice fishing record, so he kind of wants that mount or that
mold.
mold. So, you know, I'm still gonna pay like $20 an inch, but I don't care. He's an amazing artist,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's not like he's just putting
Pay
a
for what you
decal
get.
on it. Yeah, exactly. He's hand painting them with airbrush and fine brushes and each individual scale. Because like when they do these reproductions and they take that fish out and they shoot that mold, they fill it with that fiberglass and pull it out. It's pure white.
Yeah,
So they have to hand paint each individual scale.
it's crazy. It is an art. I mean,
Right. So,
that's crazy just to think of the time that goes into recreating nature, especially in its own habitat. I've seen some pretty cool mounts out there in the world, especially some ice fishing ones. There's some pretty cool ice fishing ones.
Yeah. And so, that's my little tidbit on getting.
I mean, here's the thing. If you're listening to this and you were just like, that was a waste of time because I know how to do it. I mean, in my mind, that whole, segment right there is for the people that don't know anything about taxidermies or want to do a fish, because not every fisherman has done a fish,
right?
But they possibly might want to. Yeah. That was a perfect way, an example of how to. So if you've watch it or listen to it, and you're gonna do a fish, that's a style in a way that you should.
And if there's anything that I missed, please let me know. To me, information is never a waste, whether you know it or not.
That could be a shirt. The broken line.
I just reminded myself of how to do things. Yeah. And you get a big giant fish for a lifetime. Are you going to remember to snap all the right poses and that kind of stuff?
Or is your adrenaline going to be running so much
that
you've never done it before?
Right. And so, nothing's a waste of time when it comes to information, ever.
It's true.
Right on, man.
Anything else for this Halloween?
I'm not.
That was an hour. I mean, we chatted about some stupid Halloween stuff, some stupid candy stuff. We talked about ice strawn.
Ooh, what kind of food do you want for the road trip? Not candy.
Chips. Cheese Witch. Cheese Witches. Has anyone ever had a Cheese Witch? If you've never had a Cheese Witch,
where can I find Cheese
Go
Witch?
to your local gas station. Newbies has it, but it has to be pepper jack. So it's pepper jack cheese, a piece of salami, and then pepper jack cheese, no bread.
Here, I thought we'd grab a loaf of bread, jar of peanut butter, and jelly.
You can do that too. But Cheese Witch is good because you don't have the carbs and stuff from the bread. It doesn't get mushy and crappy, so when you're out ice fishing or fishing, it's the ultimate fishing sandwich because you don't have the bread, it doesn't get mushy. It just, you open it up, it's got your cheese, salami, cheese. I like the pepper jack version, so it's pepper jack, salami, pepper
I've
jack.
never had a Cheese Witch, so we'll stop on the way out of town.
Yeah, and we're going into Wisconsin, and that's where it's from. Good old Wisconsin.
Wow.
So we will film you eating a Cheese Witch.
Your expressions today are just freaking me out, dude.
We're going to film you eating a Cheese Witch, and if anyone ever, here's our food one for this episode. If you're a fisherman or a fisherwoman, and you ice fish or open water fish, and you always are thinking what's the best snack on ice for like $1 to $2, whatever it is, Cheese Witch, pepper jack, salami, pepper jack. It's in a plastic seal. You can find it in your refrigerated section of your gas station, typically. They've blown up in the last year. Take it ice fishing, take it open water fishing, no carbs, no bread, doesn't get smushy. And it sits in the stomach. Right? It's cheese and meat, but in a sandwich form. And it's great. So Cheese Witch, look that up. And I've wanted to have that as a sponsor so bad for the last year. I love Cheese Witch.
It almost sounds like if you did want to add carbs, you could just buy a couple of those and a pack of buns.
Sandwich made.
You'd have a Cheese Witch sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a tongue twister.
Cheese Witch sandwich.
Yeah. Mind blowing there.
There it is. So Halloween episode 12. Next week we are with Matt Brewer is in the house for a guest. Yeah. Episode 13 with him. And we talk about all kinds of stuff. So you're not going to want to miss that episode. Message us on Facebook. Hit us up. Get interactive with us. Same thing we say at the end of every podcast. We like to hear comments, concerns, questions, stuff to bring up during our podcast. We can't think of all these topics by ourselves. We need your help to help
give
us.
Give us some ratings on iTunes, and can you rate on SoundCloud and Google Play and all that kind of stuff?
I'd have to look. For sure, Facebook.
We're Apple nerds, so like all I just do iTunes.
Yeah, definitely go hit a 5-star. Go write a review. Say you like it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
We'd like to hear your feedback. Like to hear your comments, your concerns, your questions.
We're open to criticism, whatever. And
We'd like to
criticism,
hear.
People think that's such a negative word all the time. It's not.
How are you supposed to learn?
Right.
We're only 12 episodes in.
12 deep. That's it, people.
We
we
haven't
want to be doing this for years.
we haven't got our path anywhere close to the direction we want.
Oh,
We have big ideas for bringing big guests in, more guests. We have ideas for giving stuff away almost every podcast.
Dude, we have ideas of having a dream studio.
Yeah, Dream Studio. Come on. We're also trying to do random video stuff, like the little video blog that we're going to try and do.
Video
Just
blog.
fun stuff like that. So,
And if we can get this mobile podcasting thing down, you're at some tackle store someplace, and a dude just comes up to you and says, "Hey, you're going to be on a podcast right now," and he's got an iPhone and he hands you a microphone. It's going to be either one of us, because that's something I want to do. I want to get out and talk to
he wants to do mini casts.
regular people like myself.
Just as long as we keep the quality up, I'm good for mini casts.
Yeah, we'll get it figured out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get it figured out.
Takes time, but we'll get it. Yeah, and send us ideas, topic ideas. I mean, what the heck? Get involved. Right now we have 2 or 3 people that are involved like daily / every episode. There's like 5
awesome.
total. And those are the guys that we've name dropped a couple times. So the more you communicate with us, the better it is for
Tony,
YouTube.
Cody, and Dwayne.
Tony, Cody, and Dwayne.
Yeah. Boom. Just dropped them
Boom,
again.
just dropped 3. So yeah, that's kind of the wrap for the Muahaha Halloween special.
Wow. All right.
I need to take this jacket off. It's way too tight.
I think you should just take the sleeves off that bad son of a gun.
Hey, I can cut them off.
Snow's out, guns out type thing.
So that's a wrap on Podcast 12. I'm Aaron.
I'm Patrick.
And this is
The Broken Line.
Zing.
Thank you, Aaron. It was fun.
It's kind of a really awesome name, right? The Broken Line. You're talking about fishing, but when the line breaks, man, shit just gets unreal.